have a question. What is your favorite song and how do you connect with it? Is it when you fell in love or through something really difficult? I'm your host, Tiffany Mason. Now join me as I interview others and we take a walk down memory lane with them. Let's get lost in why that music matters to them. Turn up your radio and let's explore Memories with a Beat. Hello, Podcast Land. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Memories with a Beat. Today, I have with me Tony Washington. And I came across Tony because he also has a podcast about music. And so, like I've said on other interviews, when I know somebody loves music so much, I know that that is a great person that I want to connect with. And Tony and I have gone back and forth a little bit. And so, we've made this interview finally happen. So, I have a feeling it's going to be a good one. Tony, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now Tony, if you wouldn't mind, will you tell my audience just a little bit about yourself, where you are, what you do, that kind of thing?
Okay. Tony is a name I'm actually getting away from using because there are several Tonys in the music um, field. So I'm going back to using my original name, which is D'Tanyan. It is my
Ah.
legal name. And there's only one of me in the music space. So I'm going to slowly move everything back to there. But I started music because my mom was a choir director. I was probably 8 or 9 years old when she stuck me in a choir loft for the first time. And I got a love for gospel music out of that. I got a
Mm,
love for singing out of that. I got a love for performing out of that. Um, a love for making a crowd go with you on that musical journey, if you will. Whatever song you're singing, to have them travel with you down whatever path that song is taking you. It kind of stuck with me at an early age and still does it
yeah.
today. I still enjoy taking people on that musical ride on whatever song I've written or whatever song I'm doing. And I am where I'm at now. Well, I have finally released several songs, working on the podcast that you mentioned earlier, trying to help other musicians get that start, get their name out there, get their music out there, get their dates out there. I'm also branching off into doing some DJ work, which kind of helps me with my instrumentals a little bit. And but as long as it's still in music, I'm interested in learning new skills and I'm interested in a new challenge. And this is definitely a new challenge. It's not just hitting play and making a song play. There is a whole art to this DJ thing, and I'm kind of liking the challenge so far.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I want to go back to you saying your name, D'Tanyan.
Yes,
Where'd your parents come up with that? Do you know?
my mother was a huge Three Musketeers fan, and it's actually not spelled on my birth certificate the way she wanted it,
Okay.
but it's still a unique spelling. It's a unique name, and I felt like I think my music and my performances stand out. So I wanted to go back to the name that also stands out. Like I said, I discovered there are several Tony Washingtons in the music space, and they all do something a little different, and they're all good. But in order for me to stand out for my fan base and for people who are looking for my music, I felt I needed to go back to my original name, my God-given name, and that's where we're going to go.
I love that. A standout name for a standout artist, right?
Let's hope so.
Well, I love the that you said that you love to take people on that journey because as I've spoke about many times on my podcast, I love going on that journey. So thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
And I know that you said you really like promoting up and coming artists, getting their name out there. You have a podcast, right? And your podcast does that?
I don't know if I do it any better or any worse than the system that is in place now. Um, I like to think I give independent artists a different avenue to travel, so to speak. Um, I'm one of them. I'm an unsigned artist. I know what the struggle is. I know how hard it is to hold down that full time job and then find time to put your song together, to put thoughts on paper, to put your
Sure.
lyrics together, to get a song arranged the way you want it. and then to find the melody that you want to put to it. And all of these components that normally, if you are a signed artist, you have probably 10 or 20 people to help you put something together. You have your studio musicians and you have extra writers who are helping you redo those lyrics. As an independent artist, a lot of times you don't have that. If you're a solo artist, it's just you. And you have to be able to basically know how to do all of these things. You have to know how to find the melody, how to write the song, how to get it to make sense, how to get it to connect to your audience, the best key to put it in for you to sing it, the best key for you to play it if you play a guitar or another instrument. There's a lot of different avenues that you have to travel to get one song produced and put out for people to hear it. And it's a journey that a lot of guys find kind of overwhelming because I did when I first started, but I learned through trial and error. I was lucky enough to meet several great musicians when I lived in Florida. A lot of the guys were retired national touring guys. Uh, I don't want to name drop, but we'll just say I've met guys who played in Skid Row, who played in Slaughter, who played for Bon Jovi. I've been very, very lucky,
Wow.
and I don't use those friendships career. I use those friendships to go back and go, hey guys, let me ask you this: if I do this, would that benefit me, or should I go this route? I will never use my friendship with these guys to try and push my career,
Sure.
but I will use it to pick their brain and try to become a
Absolutely.
better artist.
Well, they probably appreciate that about your relationship too, that you're not like, "Hey, make me famous, say something, promote me." They're probably happy to be like, "Wow, this guy actually values my experience, my knowledge, and what I have to offer for advice."
Exactly. It's like I said, I've been very fortunate when at my time in Florida to have met some of what I consider to be the greatest musicians on the planet. These guys are some of them are making residual royalties because they wrote songs for BMI and ASCAP, and they're getting residual checks every month. That's where I would like to be. Will I get there? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying the
Yeah,
journey. I'm enjoying learning the new things that are required for me to get to that next step. So, in that aspect, their friendship has been invaluable because I never would be able to gain this knowledge any other way.
absolutely.
The Ohio music scene is far different than the Florida music scene. But again, I enjoy a challenge, and it did present several challenges.
Tony, what kind of music do you sing?
Believe it or not, I sing pretty much anything.
Oh,
I've done country, I've done rock, I've done blues, and thanks to my gospel background, I can do all of them fairly well. I like to say that gospel is the root of pretty much most music, and if you can sing a gospel song well, then you can do rock and roll, you can do blues, you can do whatever else you want. And that's my gospel roots coming out there. There are probably several people who would disagree with that, but that's fine. To me, my gospel background gives me that, I don't know what you want to call it, but it gives me that ability, I guess, if you will, to be able to say, hey, I can sing rock and roll. Because I've had people come up to me after doing Bon Jovi and they go, wow, please don't take this the wrong way, but I've never seen a black guy sing Bon Jovi.
oh.
Well, now you have. Congratulations.
Well, speaking of Bon Jovi, that kind of brings us to a song that you
I
selected.
mean, they were genuine. They weren't being racist. They were being
Right,
genuine.
right. Of course, yes. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, and I took it as a huge compliment because they're right. I had never seen another singer do, especially the Bon Jovi. I was doing, Wanted Dead or Alive, and I was doing You Give Love a Bad Name, and some of those notes, and I tend to show off once in a while.
No.
I'm a singer. What can I say? And push push the high notes a little higher than maybe they should go. I have been known to walk away from the microphone and sing without a microphone, and people in the back of a place that I'm singing are going, "Oh my God, I can still hear him. How does he do that?" And that shock value, I love it. I love doing
I'm a big fan of shock value as well, so I can appreciate that very much, Tony.
that.
Got a podcast? Are you loving it, but not loving how much time post production takes? Or maybe you just have other tasks calling your name a little bit louder. Virtually You can help. Check out virtuallyouva.com, supporting you in all things podcasting like editing, show notes, audiograms, and much more. See the link in the show notes. They're waiting to give you back your time. And on that note, let's get back to the show. Okay, well, if you don't mind, let's jump into your song that you chose. Go ahead and share with my audience the name of the song, and then you can go right into, how you connect with it. Are you instantly transported somewhere? Does it remind you of somebody? How do you connect with this song, Tony?
Absolutely. The song is Simple Man by Lynard Skynard, and it was redone, I thought, to perfection by a band called Shinedown. The Shinedown version, quote unquote, is the style in which I usually sing it when I can be coerced into singing it. And I say that because
By a band
usually
called who?
Shinedown.
Okay,
Shinedown redid it a few years ago, and I connected with their version, if you will. Um, it's not too much different than the original Skinner version. It's just that Brent Smith puts a few high notes in it, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
sure.
The song reminds me of my mother.
Okay.
It basically I know they wrote this long before, but it basically reminds me of conversations my mom and I had over the years before she passed away, and
I'm sorry.
I can hear her saying the lyrics in my ear, and
Mm,
people sometimes don't understand. They'll request it. When I was in Florida, they'll request me to do Simple Man because they love the way I do it, and I love singing it. I really do. But there are some nights when you just know I'm not going to make it through that. I will crack up. I will. It just and you have to explain to them. I really want to do it, but uh, I think I might get halfway through it before I just crack up and break down. And
yeah.
but I'll do any other song you want to hear. Um, the lyrics, like I said, remind me of conversations I've had with mom over the years, and I can hear her saying those words in my ear whenever I hear the song. It doesn't matter if Skinner's doing it, doesn't matter if Shinedown's doing it, doesn't matter if I'm singing it.
Mm-hmm.
I have sang that song and heard her in my ear citing the words.
Mm-hmm.
People sometimes ask, do singers forget the lyrics to songs? Yes, yes, we do. We're human. Um, we will sometimes forget words to songs that we've sang for years. We've forgot you'll forget words to songs you wrote. It does happen. Simple Man, I've never forgotten the words to because mom is always right there in my ear, which I count as a good thing because she's kind of standing there going, okay, I'm gonna make sure you never forget this. Now you go do what you do,
Yeah.
and the lyrics just kind of give you a whole discussion that you would think any mother would have with their son, especially growing up in the South. And I don't know, it just the music it's the perfect melody accompaniment to those lyrics. I couldn't see that song being done with any other melody besides the one it is with. It to me it wouldn't produce the same emotional connection. It wouldn't produce the same emotional response. And as a musician, that's what you want. You create a song that people connect to in maybe far different ways than you ever intended.
Mm-hmm.
You've done something here.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't just put lyrics on paper and say, "Wow, I threw together 9 songs for an album." You did something special because people are connecting with it not only the way you intended, but maybe they're connecting with it in ways you had no idea they would. Um, Simple Man is one of those songs. I think it's just an iconic song. It is as soon as you hear the opening guitar riff, you know the song.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you know the lyrics or not is a different story, but you know who did that song. You know the name of that song, and you know whoever's singing this better do it right. Whether you're a fan of Leonard Skinner or not would be irrelevant. You know this song, and you're like, all right, this guy better sing this right. Don't mess this song up. So it invokes the perfect response, I guess, if there is such a thing, from an audience because, like I said, if they even if they don't know Leonard Skinner, they're not fans of Leonard Skinner. When you hear that opening riff, you suddenly pay attention. And there's very few songs that do that to a mass audience.
Mhm.
The first few notes played, and everybody perks up and goes, "Oh, I want to hear this." Hush,
Mhm.
we're not talking now. I want to hear this.
Yeah.
And when you have an emotional connection to it too, when you are emotionally bound to a song, it's I'm sure most people have a song they emotionally connect to for one reason or another, and they probably can't explain it either as to what one thing made them go, "This is the song that I connect with." And I don't think a lot of times you have the choice. I think the song chooses you.
Mm.
I don't think you sit down and listen to 50 or 100 songs and go, "Wow, okay, that's the song I'm going to connect with." There's a song somewhere out there. If you haven't found it yet, trust me, you will.
Mhm.
There's a song out there somewhere that you will hear one day, and your mind and your heart will go, "That's it. That's the song." And you won't have any idea. You'll just suddenly know tears will be welling up in your eyes, or you'll start to think about that one situation or that one person that those lyrics make you think of, and you just bond.
Mhm.
You had no choice in the matter. You didn't decide it your own. The song and your heart and your emotions all got together and said, "Okay, this is it. We're here. We have reached enlightenment, euphoria, whatever word you want to call it, and this is the song that's going to associate with that situation or that person." And then you go the rest of your life listening to that song with that connection, and then you connect with
Yep.
that artist over that one song.
Yep.
And it
Yep.
is, I think it's the one thing that every songwriter wants to do. I think it's the one thing every songwriter desires to do, but it's not something we all get to do. And that's not a bad thing. It is something that is special and has to happen on its own. It can't be forced.
Yeah. Yeah. Tony, how long has your mom been gone?
Ooh, it's been over 20 years.
Oh goodness. Okay.
She was my driving force behind music. Like I said, she put me in a choir loft. She was a piano player and a piano teacher, and she was just. I used to watch her perform, and it was amazing. Yeah, whenever I'm doing Simple Man, I can hear her in my ear. She's not singing to me.
Moms have that kind of influence on us, right?
Yes, yes, they do. When you're a kid and you're growing up and you're doing stupid stuff, and you're getting punished for it, you don't see it that way. But one day you will wake up and go,
Mhm.
"Yeah, she loved me." Mom knew what she was talking about. I didn't want to hear it at the time because I was trying to do my own thing, but yeah, mom knew what she was talking about.
Yep. Yep. I can appreciate that. Now, just to maybe be a touch controversial, and I don't need to get too deep in it really, but I wonder if these conversations, do you feel like she was having them with you because you were a black man? Because there were different forces against you than other people? Or was it just, you know what, son, I want you to grow up and make me proud and don't worry about all these extravagant things. Just be a simple man, be a good person. What was the overall message, Tony? Oh, sorry. I forgot the other one.
D'Italian.
Yes, D'Italien, yes.
Mom was never my mom my mom and my dad were never uh they were never people to use race as an excuse. If you're going to do something, you're going to go do it, whether you're black, white, yellow, red, purple, doesn't matter. My mother nor my father, in the talkings that I've had with either one of them, ever brought up the fact that what color I was made a difference in what I wanted to do in life.
Right.
Set your mind to it, set your goals, do the work. You put in the work, then, if you're successful, great. If you're not successful, at least you tried and you did the absolute best you could. So, mom's conversations were always about do your best. Don't worry about making me proud. Don't worry about making your father proud. Make yourself proud. Do your best. Don't ever get into a profession or anything and don't do it to the best of your ability. If it's worth you spending time on, it's worth you doing your absolute best. And that kind of stuck with me because, like you said, in the era when I grew up, I was born in '68, so grew up through the '70s and the early '80s, and there were all kinds of outside forces that would push you or pull you one way or the other. And
Sure.
my mom and dad were always there to say, look, we can't stop you from doing anything, but what we are going to tell you is this: there are consequences for every action.
Amen.
If you decide to go out here and act a fool, there's consequences for that. If you decide to go out here and be a man, stand up for what you believe in, do your absolute best every time you walk out that door, whether it be at a job or whether it be in music if that's what you want to do, or whether it be riding a bicycle, whatever it is, be the best you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Mm-hmm. Solid advice.
don't waste time. My dad was always, don't ever waste your time doing something. And I never really understood what he meant until later on when he said, stop wasting your time doing this. And I realized what he meant was it wasn't that I was wasting my time doing the activity. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't doing it to the best of my ability. So in his mind, I was wasting all the time I was spending doing that because I wasn't trying to be the best I could be. I was just spending time doing this, spending time doing that. He said, find something you like.
Mm-hmm.
He said, find something you enjoy and put your heart and soul into it.
Yeah, that's the message we're really trying to tell our kids.
Yep, that's the message that I think's gotten lost over the years is that you have to realize consequences of every action, and you have to realize that stop wasting your time with things that really don't interest you. You're doing them because you want to impress a friend, or you want to impress a girl, or you want to impress a guy, you want to impress the HR people at a certain job application. Stop doing that.
Mm.
Don't try and do anything to impress anyone. Do it because you enjoy it. Do it because you're trying to be the absolute best that you can be at it, and then everything else will fall into place.
Completely agreed. Yep.
Yep.
I love that saying, a job worth doing is a job worth doing well. So I completely agree with you, and I hear that in my head a lot when I want to half-ass something. I'm like, no, a job worth doing is a job worth doing well, Tiffany. Do a good job. Well, I know that you said it was very important. If you're going to sing this song, you better sing it right. And so I'm wondering, I personally do not like when independent artists or cover bands try to put their own spin on songs. So do you keep this on the straight and narrow, or do you put a little Tony flair on there?
The only flair I've ever done with Simple Man when I sang it is I let my emotions take over when I sing that song. I don't go in and say, okay, I'm going to sing it straight like Lynyrd Skynyrd did, or I'm going to sing it straight like Shinedown
Mm.
did. I grab a microphone and I'll tell the audience, I know you all know this song. The lyrics are going to stay the same. The emotions might come out a little different, and we're in for a ride. And then from there, if I really get into it,
Mm.
you never know what notes I might hit. But I never sit down and say I'm going to do this the classic Leonard Skinner way, or I'm going to do it the Shine Down way. I'm going to do it the way it comes out. And if mom gets in my ear and my emotions get tied up in it, then you're going to hear some soul, you're going to hear some
Yeah.
jazz, you're going to hear a lot of elements thrown into my lyric, into my singing, but you're going to hear the song on an emotional level. You're not going to hear it just repeat. I'm never going to be just repeating the lyrics. There's going to be emotion in that singing.
Yeah. Now, are there any lyrics that stick out to you specifically in this song?
Well, I mean, honestly, the whole song sticks out, but I mean, you have to look at. I always look at the beginning
Mm.
of this song, and I go, this is just. I don't know if the person who sat down and started penning this had it in their mind. This is really going to be something special,
Sure.
but it's what happened. And if you're a gentleman, all the guys who are listening, your mother at one time says, you know, come sit beside me, my only son. If you're an only
Mm.
son, your mother has said that to you on more than one occasion. Come sit here, my only son, or come talk to me, my only son. Uh, listen closely to what I say. If you do this, it'll help you some sunny day. You can't, maybe mom didn't say it in exactly those words. But when you go back and you look at that first lyric, you go, wow, my mom
Mm,
used to tell me that all the time. If I just stay on the straight and narrow, if I be something that I love and understand, which
mm-hmm.
again is don't waste your time.
That gave me the chills.
Be something you love and understand. Don't waste your time. Yeah, it's when you start breaking it down to your personal experience with what your mom or your dad told you as you grew up, and you break those lyrics down into that personal experience,
Yeah,
almost everyone can relate to
yeah.
this song.
Well, not to put you on the spot, but if you feel like it, would you want to entertain us with a little synopsis of the song just to kind of, make people remember, oh, yeah, okay, this is the song we've been talking about?
Well, I've
Okay.
been talking about the opening of the song, so um, it's again, like I said, if every guy listening has, especially if you are the only male
Mm-hmm.
sibling, maybe you're the only child. Um, your mother at some point said these words to you, maybe not exactly like this, but if you sit down and think about it, you'll find where she said these words to you, however she normally communicated with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that always gives me chills, is that
Yeah.
everybody can relate to that. And let's see, when's the last time I did this a cappella?
I know. Definitely on the spot.
For me, when I was young, sit beside me, my only
Mm.
son. Listen closely to what I say. If you do this, it'll help you some sunny day. Everybody has heard mom say that
Mm-hmm.
at some point. Like I said, maybe she didn't say it that way, but when you sit down and think about it, and you'll have that aha moment where you go, wow, he's right. Mom did say this to me when I was 6, 8, 10, 12, whatever age you were. Could have been 16,
Yeah.
but mom doesn't look at your age. Mom looks at your development.
Correct.
Mom doesn't care that you're 18. Mom doesn't care that you're 21.
Nope.
Mom cares you're my son.
Mm-hmm.
I raised you. I'm looking at you make a mistake here, and I'm going to tell you it's a mistake. And of course, we as young men and young women of our late teens and early
Mm-hmm.
20s, we all think we know it all. And, mom doesn't know what she's talking about. Everything's fine. And then you realize one day, wow, mom really did know what she was talking
We've all been there. Well, if you're over
about.
25.
Yeah, yes, and you want to be open and admit it. I mean, there are some who go, no, no, I've never been wrong. Okay, well, you just don't want to admit it.
Agreed.
Everyone who's like you said, everyone who's 30 and above, we know
Uh-huh.
we've been
Uh-huh.
there. You're there now.
Uh-huh.
You just don't want to admit it. You've realized it because we can look in your face and tell. You've
Oh
realized.
yeah.
You just don't want to admit. So,
Yeah.
and you will one day. And I tell people all the time, I said, no, enjoy your parents while they're here. Enjoy
Mm.
mom while she's here. I know mom sometimes is a pain in the butt. I know what you're thinking. I thought the same thing. But there's going to come that day when you can't pick up that phone and call her.
Mm-hmm.
When you can't pick up that phone and go, hey mom, I got a question.
Yeah.
Mom, what do you think I should do here?
Yeah.
Mom, what do you think about this? Or just say, hey mom, I love you.
Yeah.
You're not going to have that opportunity one day.
Yeah.
So don't waste your time on other stuff that really is meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
Spend your time where it counts. Call mom. Say hi. You don't have to have a reason. But, mom, I don't have a reason. I just wanted to call and hear your voice. You know what? You're going to put a smile on her face
Yep.
every single time.
Yep. I completely agree. Tony, thank you so much for joining me. Is there anything more you want to add about this song?
If by some strange anomaly you have never heard Simple Man, either version, either the Lynyrd Skynyrd version or the Shinedown version, I find to be perfect. But a purist would tell you listen to the Skynyrd version. So by all means, look up Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's not hard to do. You can
Mm-hmm.
Google Lynyrd Skynyrd and the words "The Simple Man," and it will pop up. Listen to it, and honestly, it doesn't matter what I think, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Listen to the song and honestly tell yourself that it doesn't really in some way.
Hmm. Well, I think those are great ending words. I think very a lot of truth from all of those. Tony, I appreciate you joining me in podcast land. I hope that this episode was music to your ears. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? You never know what rabbit holes we'll get to go down and explore. Were you reminded of anything? Or anyone? Share what it was with me in a review. Honestly, the reviews don't do me any favors other than knowing people like you are listening to this podcast. Insert cheesy wink. However, the ratings do help, so leave me 5 stars. You know you wanna. This podcast was produced by Virtual You, supporting you in all things podcasting. To connect or check me out on social media, I know you're just gonna stalk me. But see the show notes, as always, for details. Can't wait to dive into my next guest's memories with a beat. Hit subscribe now. You don't want to miss the next episode.